all dreaming. Dreaming of being a person, imagining ourselves to be this character, this particular somebody. A person which has a physical body with defined characteristics, a unique life story which has inevitably shaped the kind of person we are today. That said, living as a person is a very limited way of navigating the world and relating to the universe. Why? Well, perhaps I best explain by what I mean by the term person first. What is meant with the term person is the self-reflecting ego mind that is constantly filtrating experiences and projecting its own ideas onto reality. And the person is limited precisely in this regard, that it filtrates experiences so that everything that is experienced fits into a certain conditioned mode of perceiving the world. Not only is the person constantly filtrating reality through the lens of the socio-cultural machine and its inevitable programming, the person is also selfishly seeking its own benefit in almost every situation it finds itself in. For an intelligent being like yourself, what all this redundant personal activity in the mind ends up doing is simply lessening the overall quality of the life that is being lived, while simultaneously bereaving you from authenticity and truth in your everyday life. And this is not the way of presence, and not the door to direct experience, which is, as we shall see, what I propose to be the ideal way of living. Now, when you first begin to live more as presence and less as person, you immediately and intuitively feel an expansion in your range of expressions. While the person is limited to your personal identity, the handed-down ideas of culture and society, the presence which you are isn't limited to your personal identity, ideas about life, or even to your body. Your presence is simply much vaster in what it can include in its expressions and impressions. In fact, it is unlimited. Furthermore, this means that in this regard, your original presence is quite the opposite of what the personal state brings to the table. In this very moment, you could, if you wanted to, run out to the nearest forest and live as a hermit for the next 15 years of your life. This possibility, alongside an infinite number of other possibilities, is always available for your consciousness and presence to experience. Presence doesn't cherry-pick experiences and sensations the same way the personal identity does with life and existence. Presence is simply here to experience the now, whatever that now may be, as it essentially doesn't matter for presence. Presence is what I call supremely flexible, whether it's pain or pleasure, whether it's high or low, good or bad, night or day, lazy or productive, promiscuous or celibate. Your presence simply doesn't mind. It simply is here to experience whatever is here to be experienced at this given moment. This is a profound understanding and empowerment of your experience as a human being. On the other hand, if you only take yourself to be a person, that is the psychological conditioned entity or separate self, well then you are automatically limiting yourself to merely the capricious and unstable tendencies of your body-mind conditioning. When it comes to tuning into your own liberated nature, the personal mode of navigating life often happens to be the poison, while presence, in contrast, oftentimes works as the antidote. We are all suffering from person poison, as a wise, non-dual master once said, meaning that we are all conditioned to some degree by our societies, families, and our biology to limit ourselves to merely our bodies and minds. This conditioning doesn't have to be seen as an evil, but it can easily become that if it severely limits your capacity for truthfully expressing yourself, and if it hinders your understanding of yourself and life. Living as presence is thus the equivalent of waking up from this dream of being a person, this persistent mental habit that hypnotizes so many conscious beings around the world.